Welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Had this ready, but let's just get us going. Current blood sugar is at 9.3. Had a few highs. Last night around 10, or today around 10, I was at 19.6, and I'm now down to 9. So all in all, I start off with a high morning, 9.3. Start off with a high morning and I've come down a bit. All in all, good. And we did this without a correction today. This is also good. Now, if we take a look at time within range, not bad, not great, but we're at 69%. We brought this down to 29%. Above 10 millimoles is 29. Below 3.9, we're still hanging around that 4%, which is roughly about an hour out of 24 hours that I was low. This number, which we normally like to be at 70, is now at 67. So, average sugar in millimoles is 8.5, which is a good number. So all in all, a pretty solid state. Now, I've talked quite a bit about I've got to really work on this today, work on that today. And what am I actually talking about? How, as a person on a pump, am I working to correct? Well, first of all, let's start with low blood sugar. You always want to correct lows. You don't want to be starting to correct highs and lows together, because what's going to end up is you're going to be all over the place, and it isn't going to be that good. So you want to make sure your numbers are pretty copacetic when you start to bring things down. So let's start working on the lows, because if you increase those sugar, sometimes it even works where if you correct the lows, your highs kind of just fall into place. Doesn't always work, but it is something nice. Sorry, itchy. Itchy claw. Now, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to make sure see a low coming on. If I'm below 6, I know, hey, that means I'm going to have a low pretty quick. So you want to make sure that you start treating. Now, some of you might be saying, starting treating at 6? That's not even a low blood sugar. But for me and the labile diabetes I suffer, that is actual lows. So that's when they start treating me here. And that will usually be can of ginger ale, because that's the easiest one. It has medicinal properties, so it's easy to get. So we start with that, and then we keep going until we're up over 6. That's the idea, and that's what we like to work on. So we'll do it. Can't hurt. But if we clear up your lows, then you can start working on your highs. You don't want to start introducing more insulin into the fold until you've got your lows taken care of, because all you're going to do is start adding more insulin, and your body's just going to go low again, and it's just going to be a whole big mess. So once I get my blood sugars going down to 0 at less than 3.9 for 3 days, then I'll start working on my highs. You really want to make sure that you're stable before you start working on your highs, unless you're under full guidance of your doctor. Now, your doctor could be like me, where I call my diabetic nurse, and she goes over things with us, and she's in contact with the doctor. So she sort of has direction on what areas that they can work on together. If I can't get a hold of my diabetic nurse, I can always feel free to contact my endocrinologist. He's pretty good in getting back to me because he knows usually, hey, I think it's because Mike's had a problem here. I think we need to investigate because he doesn't want me going down. I keep calling it down the hall because we're connected to the hospital. We're a separate entity, but we're actually connected with the hospital. So all in all, we're one big happy family. But I still don't want to go tie up a hospital bed in emergency for a low blood sugar. Last time I went in, I was put in and I was moved to a ward. I didn't really like that. I'd much rather come back. Here I've got my TV, I've got my iPad, I can work on my iPad with. I talk to you fine people. But I didn't really want to be there. I was there for a total of 3 days, 2.5 actually. And then I was moved back here. But I had, the only plus thing about that is last time I had a private room, which in a hospital setting, it's very hard to get. And the only reason I did that was because they did a COVID swab. I wasn't showing any signs. He was just trying to wheeze out any different things. You know, we did the chest x-ray, we did COVID, had a few blood works done. So, but I don't want to be going low. I don't want to introduce any variable that could send me back to the hospital. No. We don't play that game. Unfortunately, a lot of times I end up going. And people here seem to do a lot of their own little theories. Oh, Mike's taking extra insulin. Mike's doing this. And what they can't stand is that I'm actually controlling my own diabetes. And the reason for this is my diabetes is such a brittle thing. I have contacts of my endocrinologist, I have contacts with my diabetic nurse. So I'm not doing myself, but they have pictures of me doing it, pictures in their mind about that's why we're having problems. We should be controlling everything. No. I'm not ready to give that up. I have problems. In reality, they're opening up a whole can of worms, which shouldn't really be. But that's why your corrections, sorry, I got off topic there, but you really should get rid of your lows before you start treating highs. And for someone who's fighting for control, it can very easily show up that your blood sugars will have both highs and lows as well as in range. That's why here we have the above 10, below 10, and in range. This can indicate how well of control you're doing. Eventually, I can almost bet they're going to have a hemoglobin A1C on here for the day. Because I know on the master one for the month that I generate, we can awfully get them a lot. So control, always deal with the lows first. Then you can start working on the highs. but make sure you have some guidance from your doctor, your diabetic nurse, or even your healthcare professional. With that, have a great day, and we'll talk again soon. Bye now. My email address is Mike's Diabetes World at gmail.com. All one line. Drop me